Hey, what is going on, my specialist? See here, and welcome back to the drive time. So, guys, today's video, I really couldn't decide if I wanted to actually make this, because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't actually watched the episode of The Walking Dead that we're talking about right now. It's called What Comes After. And ever since this first season came out here, I guess ever since it came out, which is on season 9 of The Walking Dead, which is still insane. But, guys, Rick Grimes is gone. And first of all, I want to just point out, Rick Grimes is not dead. Because I know, I'm going to be honest, like the way they worded it, Rick Grimes' final episode, of course, that was immediately my first thought. They're going to kill off Rick now. Because, they've killed off a lot of characters that aren't even dead in the comics. Because one of the biggest ones I noticed, and obviously I'm going to get off topic here because I also want to talk about the overall future of The Walking Dead. The last time I talked about The Walking Dead was 2 years ago when I first started this channel. I gave you guys my thoughts on season 7 as of then. I believe it was like the mid-season finale, maybe. But yeah, guys, a lot of people constantly leave the show. Unfortunately, in the real world, there's contract issues and stuff. Or, people are just getting burnt out. Because I know in season 3, they killed off Andrea. But to my knowledge in the comic books, after Lori ends up dying, she actually hooks up with Rick, which is crazy to actually, think about. And, obviously, Glenn is dead. They actually killed him off the right way. As messed up as that sounds. But anyway, guys, let's get to the topic at hand before I continue to talk about the future of The Walking Dead. So, guys, from the clips I've seen, the only thing I know is basically at the end of episode 4, Rick is on his way to, I don't know if he's going to find more survivors or what he's going to do, actually. I think he might be going to the hilltop to talk to Maggie. But Rick ends up running into a bunch of walkers, kind of big shades of season 1, episode 1. But it's crazy because all the walkers show up, Rick's horse freaks out, and he falls right onto a piece of rebar. And of course, right away, everybody's like, oh my God, that's it, Rick's dead. Then the episode cuts out. I've seen the clip of that one. But then this whole last episode here, episode 5 that premiered yesterday. Today, of course, is Monday. But, oh boy. Basically, throughout the whole episode, Rick's having, hallucinations. He starts seeing people. You can see Scott Wilson's final performance overall as Herschel Green. I'm assuming they have a little heart-to-heart. If I can find a way, guys, I do want to watch the full episode. And then, if it works out, maybe I'll give you guys my overall thoughts. Like the episode, at least. But basically, Rick, he keeps having all these hallucinations. He gets back up on his horse, and he's actually heading back towards Atlanta. Once again, complete and utter shades of episode 1 of the first season. He ends up going back into the hospital where he wakes up from his coma after being shot. And he sees all the doors. Instead of it saying dead inside, do not open, it says dead outside, do not open. Of course, Ricky opens up the door. And he ends up going back into his room and he sees himself laying on the bed. From all the pictures and the clips and everything I've seen of this episode, guys, it looked crazy. And, But then later on, he must fall into a river because, okay, just to kind of speed you guys up a little bit. In season 7, I want to say it's episode 5, the rest of his group, they go to a junkyard. Right now, they're working for Negan right now. They're not only looking for supplies for Negan and themselves, because of course he has to give half of everything they have to Negan, which That'll be another thing I get into. But they end up running into this junkyard, and they meet all these junkers. And they're ran by a woman named Jadis. Well, he recruits them, and they end up turning on him at the end of episode 16 of the 7th season, I believe. So the season finale. And of course, they're working with Negan. But later on, at the end of this episode, Jadis finds Rick laying. I'm assuming he must have fell into a river or something. But he's laying on the side of a river. Of course, holding his wound where he fell onto the rebar. And she has a walkie-talkie, and I guess the big thing throughout this season so far, and I guess even part of season 8, I'm gonna be honest, guys, I only watched the first like 4 or 5 episodes of season 8, so I'm a little behind. I do plan on getting caught up here pretty soon. But she ends up having a walkie-talkie. She calls them and says something like, "You have an A, I have a B." And basically the helicopter comes down and they take Rick away, and Rick is still alive. So that's the first thing I want to point out. Rick Grimes is still alive in The Walking Dead. And this blew my mind when they said this, but they announced almost immediately after the episode, and I mean like immediately, there is going to be starting production next year, and apparently there's going to be a couple of them, but there are going to be productions of 3 Walking Dead movies starring Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes. So basically, they're gonna keep Rick's story going, but it's not going to be anywhere near like The Walking Dead, like the TV show. He's completely gone from the TV show. I mean, I'm excited for that because overall, Rick is probably one of my favorite characters. That's between him and Daryl. They're like my favorites. But I mean, it'd even be cool if, kind of like throughout this episode, Rick maybe has like hallucinations, and sometime throughout the movie, like he'll have an hallucination of like Lori coming back, or having Chandler Riggs come back and be Carl. I mean, and of course, you know, Norman Reedus could come back. Michonne can come back. I mean, they could really go good with these movies. But I mean, my overall thoughts for the Rick part right now, because like I said, after this I want to talk about the future of Walking Dead now. But overall, I really do think it's going to hurt the show. I mean, they've already lost so many characters throughout the show, and so many people have left. I mean, I'll probably still watch the show, but the only people I have any interest in watching anymore on that show are going to be Daryl and Michonne. I mean, because they show clips for the next 3 episodes. Apparently there's like a 6-year time jump, because you see a very young Judith. And of course, throughout the entire show, she's been like a small little child, maybe 1-2 years old. But now she's like a little kid. And it's weird because she dresses up like Carl, and she actually wears Rick's sheriff hat that he wore throughout most of the show until he gave it to Carl. And then, of course, Carl basically wore it throughout almost the entire series. So I think Rick stopped wearing it about season 2 because, yeah, he put the badge away, so he just became Rick Grimes instead of Officer Friendly is one of his nicknames is in the show. I really do think it's going to hurt the show. I think a lot of people are probably going to stop watching it now. But to me, I think they should keep watching it because, you know, everything they do in the TV show could eventually tie into the movie. Because who knows, maybe Negan ends up escaping or gets let out or something. And maybe he goes on like this long mission to go and try and find Rick to kill him. Because if you guys don't know, what really should have happened at the end of season 8, like Negan should have been dead. Because in the comics, Rick cuts Negan's throat and he ends up bleeding out and dying. Well, very similar happens in the season finale of last year. Rick cuts Negan's neck with a piece of glass, but he doesn't cut him like good enough, and Negan's still alive. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I hate Negan. I hate the character. He's just this. I don't know how to really word it. I try not to swear as much in my videos because it's just this. I don't know. But he's a character you love to hate. But it also really sucks because Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan, he does just such a good job, and it's so annoying because I hate the character, but I really like the guy playing him. So it's like a love-hate relationship. But overall, like I just said, I do think without Andrew Lincoln in the TV show, I do really think it's going to hurt. But at the same time, it'll be a nice change to everything. Just like I said, they're doing this big time jump, and eventually, I guess Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie, she's going to be leaving the show here at the end of this season too. So, I mean, there's not really going to be many people left. I think from the original group right now, it is just Carol and Daryl. And the only other characters that are still left over from since I've been watching, and like I just said, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Father Gabriel. I honestly don't know if Morgan is in the show anymore, because I know he went over to the Fear the Walking Dead, the spin-off show. So I honestly don't know if he's on there anymore. And Judith. And then I think like Jesus, all them side characters, they're all still in there. But I mean, we just gotta wait and see, guys. I mean, like I said, it'll be a change to the show. It could still be good. I mean, I will willingly admit, yeah, the show is really, really dragging out. I mean, like really dragging out. But overall, I do think the movies are going to be a lot more successful than the TV show, because obviously everybody wants to see what happens, and everybody wants to know what's going to go on with Rick since he is still alive. But guys, that's going to be it for the Drive Time live stream. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys think. What are your thoughts on Rick still being alive? Like I said, TV show wise, I think it's going to hurt, but it's really going to be awesome for the movies. So, I guess with that being said, guys, like, comment, subscribe. See ya.